have $1,000. I think we'd all rather work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
So today we had Becky and Carla with us, and be gentle with them, they're a little bit scared. So they're going to be sharing with you some of our tips on having a $1,000 party. So let me just give you a little bit of a rundown on them. So Becky has been with the company for 7 years. She's been married for 20 years to her high school sweetheart. She doesn't even look like she's that old.
I know.
She's got 4 kiddos, ages 21, 19, 11, and 9. She is a brand new advanced director. How exciting is that? She's also an elite seller, excellence earner for the last 6 years, and she loves everything technology and assists home office with some new programs that they've coming out. And her show average is $902.56. So Carla, she is married. She's got a 6-year-old son. She hashtags everything cooking with Jillian the child. What did I say? Julian. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So she's been with the company for 12 and a half years. She's also an advanced director. She is a Roundup ambassador. And her show average is $1,096.56, and she also is an elite seller. So, all right, gals. So I have a couple questions for them, and then if you have some, we'll add them on to the end. Are you ready? So the first one, what is your top ingredient for a $1,000 party?
So, that's louder than I thought. So I actually changed my answer a little bit. You do too, because I was thinking about it, and it was kind of hard for me to come up with one ingredient, because really it's having a system in place, having a system so established that basically I feel like sometimes I feel like I don't do anything except for show up for the party. I really do stuff, but it's set up so that it just kind of runs itself. It's simplified. It makes it easy. But with that said, communication with the host and being really clear with your communication and your expectations. So saying things like, a lot of times hosts are afraid that, what if nobody shows up? Or, I don't know who's going to come to this. I tell them, well, I'll tell you who's going to come. A quarter of the people that you invite are going to come. So setting the expectation with them of the numbers of what they can expect, that if they invite 40 to 50 people, a quarter of them are going to come to the party, but about half that don't come are going to place orders. And I have that in front of them, whether it's me saying it to them or a Facebook message or in an email, or text, I remind them of that several times, because sometimes they might be reading it at a red light and they don't even realize what they just read. So I just constantly keep that reminder in front of them. Ooh, I'm shaking. I do that, so I'm okay. So I think that's my main ingredient.
Here comes to the yin to her yang. That's what we've said the whole time. So I'm going to read from note cards a little bit because I have menopause brain. Anybody there with me? So, it's true. So I think every good recipe that you can think of has a secret ingredient. And so I think your host and your relationship that you have is kind of the secret ingredient to a successful $1,000 party. I find that those that I've developed the connection with will always bend over backwards for me to have a great party, because let's face it, I'm able to encourage them, I think, in a whole different way than you are with somebody that's not your friend or you haven't developed that relationship with. I think that it's easier for me to communicate the need for outside orders with them, and stress all of the great points that Carla made with, the inviting and that whole process, because they're a friend. You always do a little bit extra for your friend. I think that they're easier to coach through the whole process. It's easier for me to grab a wish list from my host if I'm a friend with them. We joked about this. She's like, "You're so nice."
I'm like, you make me sound so mean.
I've also found, though, that those relationships are also important for me to hold the show. How many of you guys have ever had a cancellation? Do you cancel on your best friend? No. Okay, so just like that, I think that relationship kind of holds my shows, the show dates. I don't have as many cancellations because I get to know people from a people standpoint versus a sales standpoint.
So you both kind of talked a little bit about your relationship with the host, your expectations, or your relationship. Do you have a specific system in place for host coaching?
So I think we're all going to have different systems in place for host coaching. I find that for me, we talked a lot about host coaching. My system's different than hers, and I guarantee if you would go, table by table, we would all have a different system in place. And I think that what's most important is that when you find the system that works, to stay organized and focused on it, and don't change what's not broke. So many times, how many of you guys have changed something that works, and then a couple months later, you're like, why did I stop doing that? Yeah, we've all fell into that trap. So when you find something that's working for your business, why stop doing, what is going to work as far as, your invitation process, or whether you use Margot or you don't use Margot. So I think we all have that process in mind. And for me, the key is to stay organized. With 4 children, and they're 4 busy children. 2 of them are in college, 2 of them are, in elementary and in middle school. They have sports, they have band, they have all those things. And so no matter what, with doing 10 to 12 cooking shows a month and having kids, and my husband fits in there somewhere, I have to stay organized.
So my host coaching system is I group like activities together, just so I have that system in place. I have a 2-letter email host coaching system, and I used to do everything individually because I felt like I had to say like, Dear Susie, Dear Lucy, and then I realized that I didn't. I was able to just say hello, and then so I send out the same email with instructions to all of my hosts in one email, and then I do the same thing with the follow-up email, which has the recipe choices, confirmations, how many people are confirmed, and the ingredients for the recipe. The recipe choices, the ingredients are all listed in that email. And again, it's a group email, so it's Pampered Chef party instructions and Pampered Chef next steps. And inviting a combination of ways to reach different groups of people. I use Margot personally because it does the work for me, basically. So I've had great success with that. Following up with the host, again, following up on, so once I've set those expectations that I talked about in the last question, following up and just, if I don't have a guest list from them, just checking in. Did you get the emails? Did you get the instructions? Did you get the 2 emails that I sent? Can I get your guest list by this weekend? So just following up and asking, asking for what I need for the party to be put in place. And then, let me make sure. Oh, I have a couple more on the back. And then just knowing what to expect, asking my host that clear communication. So your invitations have gone out. How many of you heard back from? Who's coming to your party? Asking for the confirmations. So I know what to expect, and so I know how to tell her to follow up with the people that she invited. And then after the party for host coaching, talking to her about, so who were you expecting tonight that didn't end up showing up? So following up with the people that were the no-shows at the party so that I can prep her for after party outside orders and follow-up.
So Becky, I know that you're the super techie one. So for both of you though, what kind of role does technology play in your business? Or are there some special tips that you might be able to help other people who might not be technological with?
So I'm going to keep it simple with you guys because I could probably make your heads explode. So let's keep it simple. How many of you guys have ever shopped Amazon? So funny, isn't it? So when you guys think of it, why do we shop Amazon?
It's easy.
It's convenient, right? We can go to one place and we can shop. So for me, I could give you 10 or 15 different pieces of technology that could help your business. But I think that this one is a simple answer for me. That show URL, is kind of the missing piece that we forget about sometimes. We forget how important it is because we do live in a convenience world. And so, yeah, I can, give my host 5 order forms for her to collect outside orders, but it's so much more convenient and easy for her to give her friends the shopping link and let them shop online. So I asked my host, to have 5 outside orders before her show, and then I encourage her after the show to use that URL to have everything done online, because I live in South Central PA, so I do shows in Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and I'm not local to a lot of my hosts. I drive an hour to an hour and a half, and so I'm not waiting on checks in the mail. I'm not waiting or driving to go meet up with my host to gather order forms, because everything can be sent to me online. It's much more convenient for her. She's not having to mail checks to me or get me cash or whatever. And as a consultant, it also helps because then they're in my customer database. And so I'm constantly in their email. I'm in their face. They're not going to forget me. So I say keep it simple. Use the show or URL. And you can use it in a lot of different ways now with your hosts. They've updated the host dashboard. How many of you guys have seen the new updates to the host dashboard?
Yeah.
Are we in love with it?
Yeah.
Okay. So right there, is one of the keys. I mean, they can do so many things that we couldn't do 7 years ago, when I think back to the beginning of my business. So just keep it simple. We don't have to have our hands in 20 different pots. Do what's most important. And so I think if you really think about it and how important Amazon is to most American households, keeping it simple is just going to kind of take it in a new direction.
So I mentioned earlier that I use Margot. That's a little techie. I'm not a techie person, but I'm working on I do a lot more than I ever thought I would. So the URL definitely. So the main thing that I'm going to focus on is using technology at the party with Express Party Checkout and Facebook. So the day before the party, I have like a little, my non-techie self made a little pic collage picture of teaching them to expect Express Party Checkout. So it's a picture of me, and it says, remember to bring a fully charged cell phone. You're going to get to experience our award-winning checkout system. And so at the party, I have the little, on Consultant's Corner, there's like a little sheet you can print that has a party code. And so I have that in a picture frame so I can just dry erase with it. So some people will come in and see it on the counter and automatically just start logging in. But you need to teach them how to use the Express Party Checkout, because a lot of people are like, oh, I stopped, my consultants on my team, I don't really know how to do it, nobody does it. So you have to tell them. So at the beginning of the party, I talk about a few products, and then I say, now let me teach you how we're going to do your order today. And I tell them that we have a new checkout tool that we've had for about 1.5 years, and it's got a 4.8 or whatever star rating from you guys, people who have attended parties and have used it and love it. It's won 2 or 3 awards in the direct sales industry, and it's an amazing tool because you can basically build your wish list. So when I'm demoing and I'm showing you the manual food processor and you're like, oh my gosh, I need one of those for home, I need one of those for my lake house, you can just start typing that into your phone and you'll see the item pop up, and then you can just add it into your cart. Or if I'm showing off the closing cut and you're curious, what's the warranty, is the dishwasher safe, what's the price on that, you can pull up all of that information and you can just put it in your cart. So at the end of tonight, if you're happy with what's on your list, then you guys can check out. If you're spending more money than you've made in the last 3 months, I don't want anyone to go broke today. You can delete items, we'll book a party, you can still get those items, just a different way. So it's worked really well, and I feel like because people are seeing, they're seeing the pictures, they're seeing what's in their cart, I feel like it's more visual than the order form, so that really helped my average order and my show average increase. So I've really liked that a lot. And if you're, with a lot of people worry about that they're not going to get that one-on-one with the guests. Again, you have to give clear directions for, at the end, after you've placed your order, let me know that your order has gone in. I'm going to meet with you so I can finalize your total. Add any additional specials, and then give you the total for your order. So you're still telling them that you need to meet with them one-on-one after.
How do you move an item from their guest cart to their wish list?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't, yeah.
If you use the app on your phone, you can drag everything in from your end.
I can.
Yep, so if you go into your show on the app, you just click on it and you just drag the items. So if you see it on their wish list on their phone, you can.
No, but
there's
let's say
something
they're putting it in their cart and they're like, oh, I can't buy all of this,
Right,
put
you
these
can't
on my
bring
wish
this.
list. Can you move it to their wish list yet? No, not yet, okay. All right.
No, but that's where that follow-up would be key.
That's the techie stuff I don't know.
It's been something that's been talked about.
Yeah, like Amazon has this in there.
All right.
She has a question.
I have a question for Becky about the URLs.
Do you customize them?
I always customize them. But part of the recent update with the host dashboard and creating your shows now is that they're automatically customized for you. So you don't have to do that anymore.
Amen.
Yeah.
If they press the button.
If you've switched over to the new format, it'll automatically, if you've hit the toggle button, okay, for the new recent update that they've done, your party links will automatically be customized to that to the host. If you're on the old system still and you haven't hit that toggle button at the top, then you would still need to go in and manually personalize them.
On the website.
When you sign in
Try the new.
and you click parties and orders, there's a little toggle right there, Laura, that you click.
To everybody?
Yes, yeah, it's rolled out to everyone. It's just a little slide button. If you, yeah, so you have the option to use it or not use it. So I would recommend, if you haven't tried it, to definitely go in there and try it, see if you like it. The good thing is it's not a permanent, thing right now, that you can go back, to the old system.
It changes the views of everything.
Yeah,
so.
it's, guys, if you haven't checked it out, you have to check it out.
I have one other thing I was going to say too about using Facebook while I'm at my parties. I have gone Facebook Live, but another thing that I've done is because they have their phones during the demo and they're building their wish list, I'll say something like, and if you happen to drift off and pop over to Facebook, because I know how we hit those buttons and we end up on Facebook, just post, I'm at a Pampered Chef party, what should I get? I learned that, my friend who is with Norwalks does that. I think that's where I learned it. And whoever gets the most, I'm not a game player at my parties, but whoever gets the most answers, you can pick a prize at the end. And so it's always fun to see because people just start commenting, and those are the people that usually end up booking parties.
Right, because they have
So-
lots of friends that are.
And have them friend you.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, have them friend you. I always have them friend you.
So one other thing that people are always concerned about is, especially new consultants, having a whole bunch of recipes to choose from. They're having a hard time deciding. What kind of a role does your recipes or product choices play in the success of your party?
So again, I like to keep it really simple. So I change my recipes somewhat seasonally. I might take out a couple, add a couple in, but really I keep the same basic recipes all the time because I don't want to be thinking about learning a new recipe, because otherwise I feel like, oh wait, what was I supposed to, and I'm just focusing on the recipe. So I want to be able to focus on talking about the products, interacting with the guests. I mentioned my email system earlier, my email number 2 that goes out has all of the recipe options and the ingredients in it. I used to oh, you want to make this? Okay, I have to go copy paste the ingredients. And this saves me more time to be able to focus on, the other host coaching things that I need to do, building the relationship and, whether it's Facebook posts or whatever, just other things rather than busy work of giving ingredient lists. At the parties, talking about the benefits that people that are relatable, so when I talk about cookware, I always do a decent sized cookware talk at the beginning of my party. No matter what I'm making, I'll hold up the 10-inch stainless skillet and the grill pan, and I'll say we have 2 sets of lifetime guarantee cookware. They are both dishwasher safe. They are both metal utensil safe. They are both oven safe, and so anyone in the family can use them. And then I go into specifics on stainless, specifics on nonstick. So talking about those no matter what at every party. Focusing on cookware, quick cooker, knives at every party no matter what. And then the little products, because we've got some really great inexpensive products like the paring knives or the waffle pan, all of those things. I save those, I'll mention them at parties or I'll have, them out. But I don't go into focusing and, really expanding on those. I save those for Facebook sales. That way I can sell, a small item in bulk. Talking in families. So using my catalog to flip to a page and showing, all of the cookware and all of the stones so that I can carry less to my parties, but still talk about the different pieces that we have to offer in each collection.
So you've all probably heard features tell and benefits sell, right? Everybody's heard that before. So I think that sometimes our sales averages are lower because we are only simply talking about the features of products and not really why every mom or busy person needs those products to have, in their home. So every time, this goes back some years to some training, Miss Lily, that we learned a long time ago was that, every time I think of a feature, I automatically want to think, so what, in my head, so it's dishwasher safe, so what? What's the benefit of that? And really, communicating that to your guests because, okay, so the pressure cooker, it's going to do all these amazing things, it's going to cook dinner for you, but we know it's a great tool, but if you tell them that, you can come home and you forgot to take something out for dinner and instead of running to the store and getting, raw meat, if you have frozen meat, then you don't have to go spend extra money or go through a drive-through. I can cook dinner before I even get, to a drive-through and back, because I have this product. Those are the things that really are going to impact your guests into buying something or booking for it. So just, ask yourself, so what, when you're talking about products at your shows. The other thing is, for me, when I pick recipes, I think you have to be very intentional with the recipes that you're doing at your shows. So many of us, because we want to be simple. I like simple and easy and quick and fast. I used to offer, a selection of recipes, but I found myself being very overwhelmed by that for a long time. And so for me, I kind of pulled that back, and now I'm doing one recipe a month. It's easier for me to just pack my bag, throw it in the dishwasher, pack my bag, and go. I do my shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So for me, it simplifies the process with having 4 kids and a busy life. I always, when I am picking recipes though, I'm very intentional with what I'm gonna pick because I base it on, what's coming up in the specials the next 2 months. I'm never gonna base my recipe choices about a brownie pan or, those small products that they're gonna find in the catalog anyway, kind of like Laura had mentioned earlier. So, really planning your business and being intentional that way. I think every piece of our business, we have to be intentional if you wanna master it, So check out the guest specials and the host specials for the next couple months and then really kind of figure out what recipes kind of, gel with that. Right now, my main recipe is quick cooker no matter what. But, that dessert recipe that I'm also gonna do, so what's on special the next month that I can make a dessert in, that's gonna also, not only I'm getting sales because I'm being intentional with some of the bigger products, but I'm also getting bookings then on top of it too.
Oh, just keep it for a second. Do you make sure that your recipes use a certain amount of money worth of products?
I really, I've never thought about, okay, I need to have 10 of this and, I have a wide variety of products. Now that doesn't mean I talk about every product during my demo. I don't focus on the measuring cups or the measuring spoons or things like that. I would rather spend the extra time talking about the quick cooker and the benefits and why they need that in their kitchen. Or, the 12-inch stainless skillet, hello, it's a godsend. I want to focus on the things that are, potentially going to get me sales. When you talk about the benefits of a product enough, they're going to buy it. At first I was very unsure about the quick cooker because of the price point with it, but I was happy to report that last month I sold 17 of them. 17 between my host buying them and guests full price. So 17 of them because I took that extra time to walk them through I've also made pictures of the do's and the don'ts with them, to send to my hosts once they have them in there to make sure that they know, the top lid, this button should look like this or it shouldn't look like this.
Yes.
Of course. Anything for you, Laura. So, just letting them know that, okay, you're buying this, $285 product that's going to save you, right? If you ask people at your shows, how many of you guys go through a drive-through line once a month? Okay, and then I ask them, so how much does that normally cost you? And I say, for me, with a family of 6, it's easily a $40 or $50 bill. If we go to a restaurant, you might as well lay a $100 bill on the table for us. So, if you break that down into 12 months, $20, you're paying for it for a year, but you're not putting crap in your family's stomachs, So you have to be intentional about the words that you're choosing and your crowd of people. If you're with a lot of moms, then talk to them like moms. If you're with older people, then, you're going to find the eggs and those other kinds of things that, they're not cooking for a family anymore, but you just have to match your crowd with it.
So do you girls have some tasty tidbits that you didn't have the chance to share with us? And then you guys think of some questions that you have for them too, if we have some time.
I use a $100 bag, and I put like really little items in there, like paring knives, toaster tongs, season's best, pan scrapers. Sometimes I do bigger, mix and chops, things like that. Definitely under $15. And I tell them for every $100 that you spend, you get to pick one item out of the bag and take home with you tonight. No matter what the order, whenever I'm sitting down with a guest, I ask them if they got the guest special, you're close to another freebie, I pick out of my bag. What else were you thinking of getting tonight that you didn't decide to get? Again, I think Laura said it earlier, let them decide what they're gonna add. I already talked about cookware. Talking about cookware at every show, I feel like is a tidbit. That's my tidbits. I probably have like a ton of tidbits, but.
So for me, I think, if lots of my consultants have, been past hosts with me. And the one thing that they would probably say about my parties is I have fun, okay? So being a mom of 4, it's my time to get out of the house. So I want to have fun, and like Laura mentioned earlier, when you're having a bad day, nobody wants to know about your bad day, okay? So check it at the door. Don't bring that into your show. You really don't know in your crowd of people what experiences they're going through in their lives. They're there to have fun. Remember that they're giving up time for you, They could be doing laundry. They could be doing other things. They could be doing something way far more important than being at a Pampered Chef party. And so they're intentionally giving up 2 hours or 3 hours of their time, depending how your show is. And so you need to make that the best experience for them. I also think when it comes down to the host end of it, having fun with them, they're going to be repeat hosts and friends for life with you. Keeping things simple. A party should not be stressful for a host, I don't think. The most stressful part of hosting a show should be them cleaning their house, if they so choose to do so. I think, again, being consistent in everything that we do, from host coaching to bookings, you have to do what works for your business. For the guests at the party, you have to get them to trust you, and I find in this business that adding a little bit of humor in your parties and having fun, when they can see that you're having fun, they're gonna have fun too. When you make people laugh, okay, it actually is intentional for them to laugh, right? They don't just, it's true.
I know,
It takes
it's
work
so
to
cute.
laugh. You burn calories, otherwise it wouldn't.
I should do it more.
So, but I find that if you can get people laughing in the beginning of your show, when you're doing the introductions, people let their guard down. They let that wall down. Humor has a funny way of doing that. And so they start to trust you at that point. Normally people are not going to host shows with you or place large orders if they don't trust you, okay? So I think that fun factor goes a long way. Don't look at your customers as dollar signs, you guys, okay? I had a really bad show the other night, and I used it as a training experience for my team. I literally was in Driving home, I went Facebook Live on my team page. I had a bad show. I wanted them to learn that they're not alone in this game. You know, we're all going to have bad experiences. But I had fun. You know, I still had fun regardless of every flop that happened during that party before and after. So I also, like I said, I use it as a training experience for my team because I think sometimes that we all feel like we're alone or things just happen to us, but it's important to know there's 40,000 of us. So the odds of me having a bad party and nobody else, yeah, I don't think so.
And knowing your products and knowing how to teach them how to use them. Like just the little tricks like opening the handle of the cheese grater, like just showing them tips like putting the lemon cut side down, like showing them and using humor when you do it. Just showing them the right way, like make your parties educational. That really builds trust with them, and it makes them want to buy something because they feel like they know how they're going to be able, like how to use it once they get it. So.
Grace?
5 minutes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Checkout, you wanted to talk about the people in it, remember we talked about that earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, repeat
So-
that.
So with Express Party Checkout, so people don't just like place their orders and head out the door. Set the clear expectation that after they've placed their order, that you just need to meet with them to finalize their total. So just say something like, I have my office tonight is over in the dining room. So after you've placed your order, just let me know, because there's no way to know like what order they come in. And I've mentioned that to home office, like have like the deli tabs, so you know like who put their order in, or have it go, because it just goes alphabetical. So have it go in order of like, I don't know, just there needs to be a better system on doing that. But so I have them tell me, just let me know when you've put your order in. That way I can meet with you quickly over in my office. And I'm going to finalize your total and then add any additional, like if you qualify for our guest special. So just asking them, basically, just telling them, like giving them instruction on what to do.
Vanessa, I don't know where I got this idea, it was not mine, but I had the same problem with knowing who to get first. Somebody told me to get a deck of cards and just pull out one of the suits. So I tell my guests as soon as they've hit send a consultant, go pick a card off the top of the pile, and then I'll call the numbers. So then whoever placed their order first, I'm going to call first. And then when I'm done with letter A's or whatever, I'll go call 2, call 3, call 4. And then that, what I say, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, and that works really well. I mean, my people do pull the cards, and that way I don't have a line waiting to check out with me, and I tell them just to go relax, I'll call your number whenever it's time. But that has solved my problem tremendously, not knowing who was first.
Thank you. Yes, and I also tell them don't line up. It makes me really nervous.
The card will help that.
Yes,
Yes.
Becky, this is for you. So, keeping things simple, there are so many things that we could do to host coach people. I feel like the amount of information we can throw at them could be overwhelming. And I tend to deliver things in big chunks. Like, I don't know what my 2-year-old's gonna do 5 minutes from now. I gotta get it all out. So I feel like it's easy to be overwhelming. How do you, could you be a little more specific how you simplify and make it easy?
Easy for me, yeah. So I'm a big do not word vomit person, okay? In everything that I do, yeah. So all of my words, too, are already put into an Evernote. Tiffany loves me, I know. I do. I just copy and paste from an Evernote document, and then I send them that way, so I'm not recreating the wheel every time. So, I don't do a lot of phone calls anymore with people. It just, again, I want to, but I'm also a realist, and I know that just because for me, I work this as my full-time job, so, I can work it all day long when my kids are at school, but that's not always the most convenient thing for my hosts. And, when their timing is convenient for them, it may not be convenient for me. And so a lot of it nowadays is just done through text message and Messenger or Facebook. And so I have everything, saved into an Evernote, all of the text messages that I send to them. And of course, I have conversations in between too, though. Everything is not business. When I message them, it's not just about their party. It's about getting to know them and their families. So make sure, if you're partying with someone, check out their personal wall, get to know them, ask questions. It's just, it goes a long way when they feel like they're not just your host, you're not just gonna make money from them, but keep it simple, keep it simple. Find whatever works for you if you use a Google Doc or Evernote or just the notepad on your phone or whatever, and take the time, write all your words out, and then you just have to copy and paste it.
Do you schedule them?
No.
Anyone else?
Okay, we're not allowed to.
No?
We're being cut off. We got pulled off the stage.
All right, you'll have to catch up with them later. Grace has given us the shepherd's hook.
What's your seasonal recipe?